Hello, everyone, and welcome to my happy place. I hope it becomes yours as well. Today, we are going to work on this design that I saw on Facebook. It was actually an advertisement, and these come up a lot on my Facebook. This is from a company that does come up a lot on my Facebook called Kokoro. It's Kokorosa. It's Kokorosa Studio, it looks like. I have never bought any of their dyes that I'm aware of, but they do come up on my stuff, my feed a lot. I saw this and I thought it was interesting in a lot of ways. And, so it really inspired me. It got me to thinking. And so I thought I wanted to show you all where my initial idea for this came from and what I decided to try to do. So initially I thought, well, there's got to be trees and design space in Cricut, right? For Cricut. And so why don't we just go in there and try to do it that way? So I did go into design space. I found a tree that I liked that was kind of similar, not exactly the same. It didn't have hearts. I don't know if you can see this, but this has hearts just a few in the tree as leaves. So I went in and added those to the design. The particular tree that I chose, the leaves happened to be separate than the trunk itself, as far as you could separate them, but that's as far as you could separate it. The leaves, you could not separate them individually to move them individually. So what I ended up doing was I placed the hearts over the section of the leaves where I wanted it. I went into contour and I removed those leaves that were underneath the hearts. Then this left a little bit of blank space. So to fill that in, I went back into the images. I found a leaf and I resized it several times and added it to several different places just to kind of fill the tree back in around where I had moved some of the leaves because of the hearts. Then I had everything together, which was great. I took it all, welded it together, made it one image, and sliced. I ended up duplicating that image so that there were 3 of them, and sliced it out of a number 10 size card, which is what I wanted to do. I thought long, narrower, that would look really good. Tried to cut it out with design space. The image did not cut well. I had a newer mat. I'd opened the mat yesterday, used it a little bit yesterday. I had a brand new needle. I tried adjusting the pressure. I tried it several times. It just didn't cut that well. I think the image was a little bit too small, and the leaves cut well. It was actually the tree itself. The tops of the branches didn't seem to want to cut. So, okay, I'm not going to give up yet, right? So I decided to try to do just one tree, to do just one, cut it out of an A2. Still didn't work very well. Bump it up again, one tree, cut it out of an A5. That actually, not an A5, a 5x7, I'm sorry. That actually was successful. And this is what I ended up with, was this image. It's got the hearts, it's got the tree, right? All right, but this image, this isn't in color because I just printed it on my printer, but these leaves in the trunk happen to be in color, and they're many pastel colors, which is part of what made this really pretty. So I wanted to try to do that. So my first thought was, well, I'll just see if we can color it in with markers, right? So I took a piece of scrap paper. Oh, it goes like this, I think. Put it behind here to see if we could color it in with markers. But that really wasn't going to work because, number one, it would get on this image itself, which I didn't really like. And it, you can't use the reverse side because this alcohol markers go through the paper. And I didn't like the look that it had, right? So then I thought, well, what are we going to do about this? Well, we could just have Design Space draw it instead of cut it, right? So I did do that. I had Design Space draw it. I thought when I had refigured this that it would just be able to fit underneath here, which you could do it that way and then just color it this way, right? And then just plop it right behind your image. And then your image would be colored in. So that's one way to do it. Or you could just color it in. But then I thought, well, if we can do that, then let's go back to the original design. And instead of having it cut 3 images, let's just have it draw the 3 images. And then we're going to color it in. And by the way, I did keep the reverse image because I'm thinking I might try to do something with it and use it at another time. But so this is the process that we came to get to this. Some trial and error, but this is where we have landed on. Also, I decided that instead of using markers on this, because I want a softer look, I am going to use colored pencils. These are my colored pencils. Nothing terrific. They're not expensive. They're just, some of them are like, I don't know. They were mostly my kids, I think. Some of them are Crayola. There's some that are Prang. I don't know. They're not expensive colored pencils, but they will get the job done, right? I've used them many times to color many things in. And so we're just gonna color this in here. I really like to color. It's very relaxing, I think. And I don't know. I guess it kind of reminds you of being a kid. And kind of, it's usually quiet when I'm coloring, and it gives me time to think and reflect, and I kind of like that. And when I'm coloring these in, I decided right off the bat that I wanted to make them the same. I didn't want them to be different. I wanted them to be as close, in color to each other as I could possibly get, which made it take a little bit longer. Plus, as I'm going, I'm kind of deciding, what colors I'm going to use and how many colors I'm going to use, and trying to stick with that. Trying to stick with that as I go along. I do have a slight trick about the kind of stand that you see to the right. The colors that I'm using, I do put over there so that I don't have to keep searching for different colors. I do the same when I'm using markers until I'm done with the end of the project. I try to keep them all together. That way, if I need them, I can, I'll have them right there. I don't have to go searching for them. And then when I'm done, I'll just put them all away. And as you can see, this is taking a little bit longer because I am trying to even though it's random, it's methodical about its randomness. So, you know, that is something that I kind of, that's just how my brain works, I guess. I want it to look random, but really they are each placed there on purpose. And I've put a little bit of thought into why I decided to put them there. So, and I did fast forward this bit, this whole coloring section, only because this this whole video ended up being super, super long. And so I figured this was the easiest way to kind of speed it up so that it wasn't so super long. I did color these in. I know a lot of people like to watch that, but I do usually speed them up because it does take a good chunk of time to color something in. So, so yeah, I did speed it up some. So just to save everybody some time. And so nobody fell asleep trying to watch me color these 3 trees in. So just a little FYI there for people who wonder why I speed parts of the videos up. It's because they get so very long. And actually this video, I cut a great deal of the end of it off because it was just entirely too long. You still get to see everything, that goes on to create this card. But I did create several after this that I had recorded the process, but it just made it really too long. So I did not add that part to this. I end up adding the end result at the end of the video, which you'll see. But the process and how I got there, I did not. But if you're interested in seeing that, leave a comment and I'll go in and adjust the editing so that you can see those additional cards. But it's pretty much a similar concept. I think you all kind of get it. All right, I think I'm going to frame this in a blue. So we need this to be 3 3/4. Right. 3 3/4. And I'm going to do it by 9. Let's just... mark that. So we can cut it here. All right. All right, so that is going to be the frame for that, for our card. The only thing I'm debating about a couple things. I'm debating about if I want to put any ink on it. I kind of feel like I want to have an oval. I'm kind of thinking I might just freehand it. Alright, so let's stick this onto our blender here. Alright, let's move these out of the way. And I want to use brown. I probably use brown, this vintage photo. I probably use it more than any other color. And so here, once again, I'm just fast forwarding this. It's just using, the brown ink and blending around the trees just to give them some definition and a little bit more interest. I'm not really a huge fan of stark white. I use a lot of white cardstock, but I don't like a lot of white on cards. I think we talked about that in the live the other day. So that's all I'm doing is just kind of blending this in, filling it in, giving it some color and some definition. All right, I kind of evened it out a little bit. So it's not so quite noticeable that I made it so dark there. All right. That's some housekeeping. That's cleaned up. Put that there. And you know how we're going to cover this up a little bit is by putting our sentiment there. All right, so let's put some sticky tape on here. So we can get this mounted. I normally use thicker, but I'm almost out of it. I gotta order some more. Then you only have to put 2 strips on instead of 3. Alrighty. Okay. Let's see here. I'm thinking that looks pretty good. All right. We got to figure out what sentiment we want to use. The original thing on here said something like "with you always be loved" or something like that. It didn't actually make sense, but I didn't get it, but I think we're going to do just a note. Just a note. And we're going to do that. Let me get a piece of scrap white here. Just stick this on. We'll be fine. And very good. I like it. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. All right. Clean that off. Put that back so we don't lose it. Because I tend to lose things if I don't put them away. I don't know where they're going. So this one advertisement kind of led me down a bit of a rabbit hole. I don't know if that happens with you guys, that you see something. Like I said, I've never bought from that company. I don't know why they come up on my Facebook. I guess maybe Facebook thinks that, I like stuff like that, which is true. I do. Oh, is this a little big? Oh, maybe it's too big. Maybe we're going to do this instead. I don't really want this to be the focal point. I really want the trees to be. So I just want this to be like a side note, like, hey, this is why I'm sending this to you. It's just a note. Just a note to say I love you. Just a note to say hi. Just a note to say haven't seen you in a while. Haven't heard from you in a while. Are you still alive? That kind of thing. Just a note to say thank you. Thank you, thank you. All right. I thought of some really good things when I was coloring, and now I can't remember any of them. That I thought, oh, after I'm done fast forwarding all this, I want to talk to them about this. But I totally don't remember any of it. Yes, I'm still using this, only because I don't need very much glue here, and I am trying to use that up in that little bottle because I have a feeling that once that bottle's out, I probably will not use it hardly ever anymore because I really like my new little toy. I like it a lot. It's much easier to use. Whoever designed it, genius. Just saying. Thank you for thinking about people who have issues. You know, I was watching We Are Memory Keepers the other day. They were doing all the new stuff for like 2024. I didn't realize how many products they have that are for people with mobility issues, which is kind of nice to know, especially, you know, as you get older, you still want to craft and stuff, but sometimes it gets a little harder. See, if we put this right here, nobody's really going to notice it. All right, and I think we might use some humpers on it. But you know what? We should put it on a card base first. Let's do that real quick. I do not have any pre-cut because I don't normally do this size of card. So we need our paper to be 7.5 by 9. I have my little cheat sheet there. I made it a long time ago, and it is a help. This is 7, this is 7.25, this is 7.5, but it doesn't mark completely. So let's just mark it on here just to be safe. So we're going to do 7.5 here. And then we're going to do 9. Let's just mark that. I just mark it here. I mean, this has the thing that you can pull out, but you know what? It takes too much time. It's easier just to mark it and then cut it. 9. That's right. All right. Now we got to score it in half. Score it, score it, score it. Line it up. One of the advantages of having nails, it makes it easier to line it up. I'm gonna line it like this. Increase it. There we go. Let's put some more tape on here. This is actually going to be a bit of a long video because I have a few other things I want to show you, because like I said, this kind of led me down a rabbit hole of some ideas that I thought, well, if we can do that, why not do this? And I will say that because I tried and failed, that it would be worth buying that die from this Kokorosa Studio. Kokorosa Studio. Yep. It would be worth buying the die, because I tried to duplicate it and I could not. Not exactly. I couldn't get exactly the same look. The like cutout look. I was able to duplicate it in this way where it's drawn and colored, but the other way, the cutout way, I was not able to do it. So it would be worth buying the die for that. Plus it was some trial and error for sure. It took me like, you know, the good part of an afternoon to get it figured out, to figure, you know, it out this far. So it did take some trial and error, but I do have some, you know, was able to get more cards out of it this way. I just want to show you guys different ways you can use your Cricut, because, you know, I know a lot of card makers who have Cricuts, and I know that they're not cheap because, you know, I have one, and they don't use them the way that they should. You know, they're there. They should be used. You should learn to use it if you haven't learned to use it. You know, when I started with mine, I didn't know how to use it. And just some trial and error and watching a lot of videos. And there's a ton of videos. If you get stuck, you know, just Google it and then a YouTube video will come up telling you how to do it to get unstuck. You know, I have a friend who's had a sewing machine for like 10 years. Has more than one, actually. Doesn't use them. Afraid of them. What's the point of having something if you're going to be afraid of it? You know, there's nothing to be afraid of. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? You're going to make a mistake? Oh, gee, what? I've probably made 20 mistakes today. But I didn't let that stop me. I keep moving forward. And I want to glue these corners down a little bit. When you use the mats, it does like curl the paper just a little bit sometimes a lot of it, and I don't like that. I want it to stay flat, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue on these corners to get it to lay flatter. There we go. That worked. Easy. These you kind of have to color in. These, they're going to stamp whatever color, because see how they're solid. They'll stamp that. So if I want to do pink, then it'll stamp pink leaves in there. Or if I want to do blue, it will stamp blue. So we think we're going to use those. These, they're not solid. They would have to definitely be colored in. And I don't really want to do that. So we're going to take that, a blue. Here we go. Oh, you know what? I do not want to use that. I want to use it. Let's use this one. And just gonna put a leaf down here, right there, and we're gonna put one up there. Just to give it a little bit of design in there, because I don't like to leave them empty. Let's just wipe this off real quick. Put it back. And then I'll tell you how this whole project has led me down a rabbit hole. See, that turned out really cute. And it's not that different than this. Right? It is somewhat different, but not that different. So if you don't want to spend the money, it is possible to duplicate it. I'm just saying. It might take a little bit more time, but it is possible. So this is the end result for that card, and it turned out really nice, and I was super duper happy with it. And the following cards are what came from the original idea, the rabbit hole that I went down. These are some like clock faces. I ended up doing 3 different sets of them. I raised them up on some white, not white, but clear vellum. And then I did a couple different sets of girl and boy onesies that I also just used the die and cut out and put something behind them. I'm trying to show how easy it is to use one die several times on the same card, that multiple images do turn out pretty cool. And I think all these cards turned out pretty nice. And I liked the end result for them. And I hope you did too. See you next time. Take care. Thank you for watching Happy Place Crafting. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It means a whole lot.